Hey Superlunary, this is a response to your 5 questions video. I just want to say before I start though that was an excellent idea, and I've watched pretty much all the responses to it and they've all been excellent, and so I think it's really cool that you're generating this kind of awesome content on YouTube. And to everyone else who responded, if you're watching this, top job. Anyway, so to move on, question 1, if you could live in any time era, when would it be and why? This is a tough one for me, right, because I did, my university degree and then a whole honours year in history. So I've spent an inordinately large amount of time pondering the intricacies of this particular question. But I have to say that I've finally come to a decision. I think that I would want to go back to a time of tranquility, a time of innocence, a time before our world was as uncertain and dark as it is today. I am of course speaking of those glorious 10 years known as the 1980s. The 1980s is like the apotheosis of everything I believe in. It's like a perfect, exact little nexus between everything that I want from an era. They have good dental hygiene. The music was fantastic. Everything is so happy in the 80s. It was such an era of completely undeserved optimism. People trashing the planet, but the effects, those are for people in the late 90s. Nothing to do with us. We're awesome. Like Cyndi Lauper. I mean, basically all the music of the era had, this kind of upbeat, kind of zeitgeist thing going on, the Beverly Hills Cop tune. That's fantastic. Right across the board. Same thing with movies, because as a child of the 80s, I loved pretty much all of the movies that I saw as a kid, like Transformers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Princess Bride, The Labyrinth with David Bowie, The Dark Crystal, the Indiana Jones series, the last 2 Star Wars films. I mean, as a movie buff, I'm already into movies, and the 80s is just packed full of stuff that's so good, it's not funny. The 80s was basically the decade that was so bad, it was good. I mean, the fashion, some people might say it leaves a little bit to be desired, but frankly, I thought it was great. It was just a free-for-all. It was just complete anarchy. No one knew what was going on. Before anyone had even really stopped to take stock of things, it was so far out of control that basically the rules were you had to go as far beyond anything, even approximating normality, in order to be cool, or gnarly, as opposed to bogus. And actually, the early 90s were kind of cool too, but there's a blurry era there, around about when, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, King of New York was out, where, people were still wearing 80s clothes, but you could tell that we were on the cusp of some sort of horrible, cathartic breakdown where everyone started feeling guilty and bad about themselves. Kurt Cobain, thanks a lot. In the 90s, really sad and depressing. Anyway. I spent way too much time in the time era. Okay, number 2, celebrity. Most of the celebrities that I would like to meet, I should probably get both my little rabbit ears in the shot there. Most of my celebrities that I would like to meet, actually, most people probably haven't heard of, and are historical characters that that can't claim the celebrity that, say, Jesus can. So, I've decided to play by the rules and not knock things off the top of my desk, for instance, because that was clearly stipulated in the rules, not to knock things off the desk. But also, I thought I should pick someone that people can relate to. And I'm going to agree with you and go with Johnny Depp. And it's not just because he's hot. It's not just because he's this superhuman Adonis. He's also a great actor, and he's cool, just cool, and not in a kind of, oh well, he'll be cool for a decade, and then people will look back on him in 10 years as we now look back on Hoff, and he'll spend most of his time in the talk show circuit, sort of trading in on his kitsch value. Not at all. He's ageless. He's been around in the movies for 20 years. He looks the same now as he did in 21 Jump Street. I'm pretty sure he may have found... I'm not saying Johnny Depp is a wizard, but I am saying he might have located some kind of elixir of life. And that would be nice. If I met him, I could get some of that off him. Would I be intimate with Johnny Depp? a lot of people have suggested, on account of my tendency to wistfully look into the distance and go, Johnny Depp, that I probably would. And, you know, I can't really guarantee that I wouldn't, let's just say. You know. Moving on. Number 3, if you had one wish, what would you do? Maybe I think about these things too much, you see, because wishes are tough. You know, like, if people go, I wish for $10 trillion, right? But then I'm thinking, if you got $10 trillion, then that's just adding to the economy, which is going to devalue the currency, which is going to throw the nation into crisis. That's no good. So you can't really, or like, I wish for world peace. But does that mean you have to impinge on other people's free will, and like, you know, people who want to go to war suddenly for some reason can't because of this wish injunction, and then we're living in this horrible, smiley-looking dystopia where everyone secretly wants to be like punching other people in the face, but they can't because they've got to obey the wish. Most people probably just don't take it that, you know, they're probably not that overly punctilious with the limits of the question, but whatever. I figure, you know, you should probably wish for something that just can't go wrong, you know, something simple. So probably, you know, a piece of raisin toast with butter and some syrup. Really want to get some raisin toast now, but never mind. Yeah, number 4 is place. Where would I want to go? Anywhere in the universe. I would prefer to stay probably on Earth, and that, you know, is, you know, some people might say it's prejudice. I say I just really like oxygen. I just really like it. So someplace on Earth. You know, probably my first choice would be to have prepared that slightly better so I didn't come off looking stupid. But I'm going there in approximately 1 year, so that's covered. Apart from that, probably I want to go to Jerusalem. If I could go there, I would go there and visit, you know, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, the Wailing Wall, you know, so much stuff to see there. I don't know if you've ever seen, probably haven't. But then, you know, back in the medieval times when they drew world maps, they used to have they had either Rome or Jerusalem in the center. It was actually this big circle. Good night. I'll see you tomorrow, bro. This is a big circle, and people interrupt you when you're trying to explain this weird arcane map point. Okay, and number 5 is tell you something about myself that you don't already know, and to make it juicy. Well, I'm pretty sure that Johnny Depp thing was pretty juicy enough. I guess something interesting about me is that I have never, ever seen snow in my life. I guess if I had to pick something else, then probably, I don't know, something shameful, like I watched Lonely Girl. Now, I never watched Lonely Girl when I thought it was a blog, because I was like, lame. So I'm gonna watch that, some 15-year-old whinging about stuff. But then I found out it was a show, and I was like, that's brilliant. As it's gone along, it's just become more and more hilarious. That's pretty bad. It's pretty, you know, that's a massive blow to whatever vestiges of any kind of machismo I may have still had a claim to. Gone. So anyway, thanks for the questions. Great idea. And enjoyed watching everyone's responses, and I hope you enjoy watching this one. Keep up the good work. I especially enjoyed watching yours, by the way. It was tip-top. Okay. I don't know why I keep saying tip-top. I've never used that phrase before until suddenly now. I just want to clear that up. I don't want people thinking that it's like, you know, one of my manners of speech. It's not. Anyway.